What's up, my people? No, I probably shouldn't call people my people. Then, I want to talk to you about James Franco? It's James Guru Beauty? Jesse?
Maybe his name is Johnson. He's Johnson, goddammit.
How can I make a video about someone and not even know their name? This is what I'm good at. This is what I do. Anyway, there's that Austin Jones fellow who was recently sentenced to prison, or could face a lot of prison because of him and his interactions with young people. You know, young like 14-year-olds. Apparently, he was texting them, asking them to do things that were inappropriate. It's James Charles, isn't it? It's James Charles. That's the guy's name. Okay, James Charles apparently got in trouble because he was plotting to turn straight men gay. Like, apparently he thinks that, nobody's off limits because he's a celebrity. Well, I just wanted to express this truth. You can't make me be into someone, even if I am, straight or gay or whatever. There's more to attraction than that. Otherwise, everyone would be with everyone. But apparently there's, this Trumpian theory out there that if you're a celebrity, you can get people to do whatever you want. And that's not true. If you're a celebrity, you can get really weak people to do what you want. You can't get normal people who don't give a shit about the fact that you're a celebrity to do stuff because they're normal. So James Charles is like, F my D. Dick. I'm talking about dick. People are gonna be like, no, I'm not going to S your D. People are calling him a predator. Personally, I think that kind of downplays, criminals. When you call everyone a predator, the word predator loses its zest. Not zest, tang? Bite? Yeah, bite. Anyway, so apparently James Charles, with his millions of dollars and his, 16 million subscribers, is now canceled, you guys. That's it. He can't show up to work tomorrow and they'll still, he's done. People don't know what canceled means, okay? James Charles is still gonna be much more wealthy than all of our dads combined, okay? So he could hire a guy to beat up your dad. So if anyone's canceled, it's your whole family tree. But no, all these people are feeling super cocky right now. They feel empowered. They're like, oh, we get to ruin James Charles's life because some chick who's 37 is going to say a bunch of mean things about him, all while acting like she's humble, even though she's literally talking down, condescending, exposing, etc. The lady literally did this. Okay, she goes, oh, James Charles was gonna expose people. He was plotting against them. He thinks he's so much better than other people. And that's why I'm coming to you guys, letting you know that I'm exposing him and I'm better than him and I'm not a hypocrite because, for real, girl, okay, you act like you care and you call your video bye sister. That's not mature. That's not what an adult does. I know you're making fun of James Charles, but that kind of shows you never really cared about James Charles. You cared about James. Is his name James Charles or am I screwing it up? I'm really, whatever. I really hope it's James Charles. Otherwise, this whole video is just like, ow, my toes. So, I guess James made a video crying as a response. He's just really sad and stuff. And it's just this guy's an obvious foolish person. He's young. He doesn't know what's going on. He has so many life lessons to learn, and this big old 37-year-old is picking on him. And I don't understand it because, any of you have ever not done much worse than James Charles has done. You guys ever think about that? What if somebody who you trusted, privately and stuff, you're just being an idiot, right? I'm not saying what he did is okay, but you're just being an idiot behind the scenes. And then later on, you got this chick who's now making 10 grand off exposing you while shaming you for trying to expose other people. It's just so bizarre that society's yeah, I agree with this. Y'all don't see the hypocrisy. Y'all don't see how you're gonna be her next victim the moment you do anything that she thinks is out of line. And her idea of what's out of line is defending straight men who are the least victims in the whole world. Seriously, if I was straight and James Charles hit on me and was oh no, you're totally into me, you'll S my D or whatever, I'm not gonna just S his D. Why would I do that? I'm not into James Charles. I don't care about James Charles. I don't care that he's a celebrity. I don't care about any of this. When is personal accountability come into play? Everyone's a victim around celebrities. Is that our new position? Because that seems kind of, I don't know, childish. It just gets rid of all your personal responsibility. What I think, and this is just my ignorant opinion, I think you got this old lady, this old 37-year-old lady who's only 4 years older than me, but I'm old too. But you got this old lady who's seeing this kid who she helped out, and he took off. She was having him promote her stuff, and then he, you know, decides, I'm not gonna exclusively promote your content or your brand and your vitamins. And so she gets mad because he goes out and he actually decides not to be her slave and her bitch boy. And so then she thinks, well, I'm so mad about this. Why don't I just go make a hate video about James Charles, and I can, like, I don't know, totally ruin his life, you know, because he didn't do exactly as I wanted him to. I helped him make it in the beginning, and now he's not obeying my every word. So I, this 37-year-old hag, I'm gonna go after James Charles and make $10 jillion off crapping on him. It's just the theory based on my limited information, but like, as a person who's always defended himself with pretty much monetized videos, I can tell you the incentive to defend myself is comparable to how much money that I can make defending myself. And if I can say this, imagine how many YouTubers are actually in exactly the same boat. Anyway, I'm gonna finish building this sucker, and then we'll talk about James Charles some more. Is that his name? All right, I just did this thing. Did you look at that? It's shiny, kind of. You see that shine? Very nice. And I think this is call it bonded leather. Bonded leather means they didn't kill animals to make it. That's pretty cool. Anyway, it's time to build the piano. The piano. I'm gonna play for you guys a little piano at the end of this. Okay, yo, these people straight up gave me a free screwdriver with this piano. I don't think I've ever seen that before. It's always like some tacky thing. Anyway, I'm gonna build it right in front of you. Here we go. We're going. Yes, we are. Ooh! That clap back. So far, so good. Let's, I guess, finally talk about Austin Jones a minute. So, Austin Jones, as I understand, and you guys can Google this and find out for yourself, but he allegedly got pictures from young girls and decided to ask them specifically to do things on camera, made instructional videos allegedly for them. Super inappropriate, super uncool, super duper illegal, and yes, that is predatorial. Does it sound like there's a but coming? There isn't, really. It's just a terrible, terrible thing. Personally, I don't think the dude should be allowed to be around 14-year-olds for like a long, long time. But it seems like they straight up sentenced him to 10 years, and I'm guessing he's going to max, like maximum security prison. And as I understand, there are opportunities to violate people in max. What I'm saying is that if you send a guy like that, and if you don't know what Austin Jones looks like, you should Google it. He's a pretty boy. He's like this pretty blonde boy, which is, you know, downright horrifying because there are a lot of guys who haven't had any action in a long time in Max who also have chosen to dehumanize people who are like Austin Jones to such an extent where they're willing to do anything to people like him and feel no sympathy whatsoever. So what I'm saying is, you have Austin Jones, bad person, gross, yucky, nasty, gross, because he knew what he was doing. Like, he knew he was breaking the law. There's no place where that's legal except for a lot of places, actually. Like Germany, it's legal to be with, like, what, a 13-year-old or something like that? As I understand, they have 13-year-olds, professional workers of that industry, like the satisfying men industry, and women too, I guess, or whatever. But they have, like, professional workers who are only 13 in Germany, and yet we're not asking them about their background, whether or not they've been with people of a certain age or whatever, because they're not subject to our local laws. But yet we don't have, like, this mass campaign against Japanese people or anything like that. I think it's interesting that we as a society get mad at people based on what we're trained and not based on logic. Like, if we're mad at Austin Jones for doing what he did, we should be mad at the entire Japanese country for allowing that kind of behavior with grown men to happen on a regular basis and it be totally legal. But nobody talks about this. We're all just fine with Japan. And yet, it's so crazy, right? It's crazy that that is the legal age of consent, like 13 years old. An example of how messed up Japan is you have the awesome anime, and I say awesome because it's a good anime, you know? Politics aside, it's entertaining. But you have an anime like that, which has 15 or whatever year old girls in it who are wearing the most adult outfits ever, okay? Like, they're all supposed to be high schoolers around the age of 15, 16, whatever, and yet they're literally exposing huge portions of their chest. They're constantly sexualized and so forth, because that's part of the Japanese culture, is sexualizing 15-year-olds, okay? So what I'm saying is, I think it's hilarious that, you know, Austin Jones is going to jail, and he's going to be, no doubt, violated repeatedly, like completely and utterly dominated by a bunch of other dudes who are going to make his butt huge, right? They're just going to destroy his butt. They're going to destroy every aspect of him in jail because he's such a pretty boy or whatever. And yet there are people in Japan who are doing what he did legally, constantly, who have no repercussions whatsoever. Do you think that's weird? I think that's pretty weird. For texts and so forth and asking them to perform things on camera for them. You're talking about guys who are actually like regularly sleeping with 13-year-old girls, like adults, you know? And I find that to be objectionable because 13-year-olds are like mentally retarded. They really are. If you've ever met a 13-year-old, you don't want to meet a 13-year-old. 14, 15, 16, etc. You don't want to meet these people because a lot of them are just absolutely retarded. And if you guys don't know, the word retarded means held back, like, sir, they've retarded our forces. You know, like they've held back our forces, they've deterred our forces, they've stunted our forces. That's the context in which I'm using the word retarded, which is an actual word that can be used in this context. Anyway, I'm getting distracted, so I will BRB. Okie dokie, I think we've done it. I think I did a thing, you know? Is that backwards? Tell me that's not backwards. That's not backwards, right? Yeah, that's not backwards. That's good. So now, I just gotta plug this wire into the pedal thing. And there's the DC power cable. I wonder if they should go on the inside. Anyway, so as I was saying, for being horribly gross and horribly stupid, etc., Austin Jones is going to be probably not even living much longer considering, I mean, who wants to live through what he's about to endure, right? My guess is this is a death sentence for him. And if it's a death sentence for him, then we basically just gave someone a death sentence for being a disgusting and predatory perv. And I know some of you may be saying, you know, well, good. I'm glad that a disgusting predatory perv would get the death penalty. I mean, that's what you guys think, right? And I understand where you're coming from, I really do. But at the same time, like, that's kind of like not even an eye for an eye. That's like trying to justify executing someone for something that was vile, sure, but now are you saying that everyone in Japan should die? Are you saying that everyone in Germany should die? Or is it just because we have laws here? In which case, if the fact that we have laws, is it just that because they broke the law that they should die or have this, you know, sentence to be violated? And if you're against, like, people being violated, then how could you justify it there? Like, wouldn't you say it's wrong to have anyone violated and not this whole rogue system of beliefs where it's okay to violate some people, but not okay to violate others? You see what I mean? Because there are predators who have reasons for violating some people and not violating others. So it's kind of really confusing when you just consent to anyone being violated. What I'm saying is I think that Austin Jones should have probably gone to a mental institution or, you know, being attracted to 14-year-olds is a mental disability, in my opinion. And I just think that he should have his mental problem treated because it's not like he just wants to hurt people. He has this disgusting attraction to people he shouldn't have an attraction to, and therefore it should be treated as if he has a mental disability because it's beyond his control. It's obviously all mental, yet we're going to throw him in jail with a bunch of people who are there because they simply want to hurt people. You see what I mean? He was clearly doing what he was doing to get his jollies, not to destroy lives or anything like that. And so, like somebody who is so psychotic that they're hallucinating and seeing goblins everywhere, they're running up to these goblins and stabbing them in the neck. You're not going to give them the death penalty. You're not going to send them to prison. You're going to send them to an asylum because it wasn't their intention to hurt human beings. They're just so mentally warped that their actions caused damage to other human beings. My point is, Austin Jones is mentally retarded, at the very least. And I just don't think we should send a person who's mentally retarded to be essentially murdered, because that's what happens to people like him and Max. Are you guys ready for it? Are you ready for the moment of excitement? Oh, I pressed the keys and nothing happened. Here we go. Volume up. That was pretty good. But as far as, what's his face? James Charles. But as far as James Charles, give him a break. Like, as a former self-identifying straight guy, I don't think that straight guys are the victim. And I think that if you are a celebrity and you try to use your influence to sleep with straight guys, or you try to blackmail them or whatever, I just feel like, yes, that's a terrible thing to do. And yes, he's a moron for doing it, but everybody messes up. And I think that while I wouldn't do that myself, I think that James Charles is a 19-year-old and he's allowed to make a few mistakes in his young life. Now let's find out what this baby sounds like. Oh, come on and get free. Obviously, I have a lot of work to do, but I hope you guys enjoyed this talk, and I want you guys to know, and I really want to emphasize, preying on young women is not good, okay? And preying on young straight men is not good either. Preying on anybody is super bad, and people, when they commit crimes, when they break laws, yeah, they do deserve some kind of repercussion. But we have to make sure that the punishment for whatever crime committed doesn't outweigh the actual crime and how much damage it does, because we're talking about human beings, not people who automatically lose their rights just because they did one thing, okay? You do something, you deserve an equal punishment, not murder. Additionally, if you're gonna say that people upset you when they try to expose other people and act like they're better than other people, maybe not do the same thing yourself. And I'm not trying to say that it's wrong to expose people. I'm saying that it's wrong to say that it's wrong to expose people and then expose other people. That's what I'm saying, okay? But I'm not talking to the people who will misunderstand everything I say and not actually hear me. I'm talking to people who are actually listening, so I guess that's all that matters. It's starring Kai. Way more talented than Onision. You should go subscribe to Ladybot now. Patreon for the beautiful music, patreon.com/ladybot. You know what, pull your pledge, unsubscribe. No, we're not listening, you messed up.